like just before I like talk, like it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October, and I just want to like say that's kind of like a heavy speech, but I feel like it's super like valuable, just for like everything going on. I'm gonna start now. So growing up, all of like the women in my life have been super incredible role models, and they showed me like traits of like willfulness and intelligence and just like overall strength. But in order to get there, my grandmother had her first daughter at the age of 16, my mother, and then she was deciding whether or not to marry my grandfather, my biological grandfather, who would later become physically, sexually, like emotionally, mentally abusive to my aunt and or my mom, her sister, and my grandmother. It got to the point like they were together for a couple years, and then the state like took my mom and my aunt away, and they basically told my grandma that she either was gonna like stay with him and not have her daughters anymore, or she's gonna have to like leave him and be able to take her children. But like a lot of things that like domestic violence victims like experience is either like a lack of education or like a language barrier or like financial issues. And my grandmother didn't finish high school, so she didn't have her high school diploma. She wasn't like able to go to college. He didn't let her have a job, so she was really just like she wanted her daughters, so she like took them, but then she had to like figure out how to like take care of them. So like as now I'm kind of switching it up to like more facts, but as young children we have these things called mirror neurons, and basically they're just like these neurons in our brain that they help like train our brains to like condition behavior. So like when you see something happening, you're like these neurons in your brain are like, oh, like do that. So it's basically just like away from like age, like from birth to like the age of 5, which are like our prime developmental years. They basically are like what allow us to like learn and pick things up. So and like talking about like domestic violence and like mine is kind of more like towards like in like Hispanic culture because it's like, pretty overwhelming. Like this is like a conditioned behavior you're taught. So if like you see your father abusing your mother, like you see like your mother abusing your father, like vice versa, you are more predisposed to like pick that up and then like carry that onto you, like how you make connections with other relationships in your life. And this just kind of like starts a cycle that is pretty vicious. So like based off of the cycle, like my mom married my dad, and like my dad always told me like, oh, like never let a man put his hands on you. But then like at the age of like 9, like my parents got into like a fight, and I like saw his like bruises on my mom from my dad, and like this was probably like her being a victim of abuse just kind of like makes her more like predisposed to like choose a relationship like that. So like according so basically like I've heard a lot of like young women, and especially like Hispanic women that like I've gone to know through like classes or like stuff like that, and they like talk to me and they told me like how their mothers have been like abused, and then they would like later on tell me about like their own like abusive relationship. And like even like with myself, I've noticed that like I feel like I have to work really hard to like not pick unhealthy habits, and it's not because like I don't want to, like it's not because I would want to have these unhealthy habits, it's just because like that's like my normal. So it's like almost a thing where like if your normal is chaos, then why are you gonna go to like why are you gonna go to a new normal that's like safe and calm when it's just gonna feel like odd and unnatural for you? So the Hispanic culture is like really beautiful, and like the food, the language, the people, like the traditions, just like the connection that like I have with my family through all of these things. It means a lot to me. But one thing I've noticed is that like we're really teaching our our young boys to be really hyper aggressive, and for our women to just kind of like be like complacent and just to like I don't know, like this is so stupid, but like I just really noticed that like Hispanic moms baby their sons so much. Like they literally just like give them everything, and like like Hispanic dads, like either like they hit you or like they yell at you, and like sometimes it's really like it's not that bad, and sometimes it can be really bad. In order to change the culture, like we as a community, like we can't just like complain about it and be like, hey, I don't like this. Like we need to go to like the depths of like changing it. Like we need to go to like battered women's shelters. Like we need to make sure that like the young children that we're bringing like into the world like aren't having interactions with domestic violence, because I don't think I put it up there, but like a lot of like domestic violence instances, like I think like over half of them had children involved in the witnessing of these experiences. And then like some signs of abuse in both heterosexual relationships or like an LGBTQ relationship could be like your friend like never has money, or they're always getting out of like things to do. They don't have like, they're covering themselves up with their clothes, and like the LGBTQ community, like your partner could tell you like, oh, the cops aren't going to help you because of how you like identify with your gender, or you don't identify the way you do identify, and it's just a lot of like control issues. And many abusers were abused at some point, and this is just where it kind of like starts this catastrophe of like what's going on. And domestic violence has like hurt many lives, and it's hurt many women, many men, and a lot of children. And I just want to like think like when you read about it and like you look at statistics, like don't look at these victims as numbers, just like look at them as a part of who we all are. And that's it.
Questions for Evangelee?
It's not a question, but I just want to say, like, I think that you're so awesome for, like, talking about this, like, to all of us, because this is, like, such a big issue, and, like, I think that, like, you're really, like, awesome for doing this. Like, I love it. Yeah?
Have you visited any of those little shelters?
No, it's like really hard for me to, like, go to places like that. It's, like, kind of just almost, like, triggering. So, like, in part of, like, my mom being a victim, she got like dissociative identity disorder, and like she'd have non-epileptic seizures and stuff, and like PTSD from like the age I was like 7 to like 13. And then like in that like time period, my dad kind of put me in like the role of like being like the woman of the house, and then like I got super depressed and had to be hospitalized for it. So it's just like, it makes me feel like really helpless when I go to like those places, and it just kind of like puts me back in that like mentality. So it's just like kind of hard for me sometimes. But I did some like volunteer work at a shelter in like Oklahoma, and they like actually like it's like housing. They're honestly like just like mansions, where like a group of like women with children, like they all live, and it's just like a rehabilitation center, and we just like clean house for them and like get dinner with them, and I like that a lot. So it's something I want to get more into. I just have to like ground myself better.
Are your family members that were victims, are they as open as you are about speaking out about domestic violence?
It's honestly pretty hush hush, which is like kind of like why I like want to talk about it, is because like there's a lot of shame identified with being a victim, and there's just a lot of like it's hard to like talk about it and be vulnerable, especially if you are a victim. So like putting yourself in my shoes, it's really hard for like them. Like especially my mom, like she's just like really like she's like super private about it, and she's like almost like ashamed of it.